Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Canal Algérie's News in English. In today's top stories, the Minister of Interior, Local Collectivities and Territory Planning, Brahim Marad, on a working visit to Togourt Province pursuant to the President's guidelines, where he insists on accelerating the pace of development projects and listens to the citizens' concerns. To the International Conferences Center, where the preparatory meetings of the third Conference of Arab Ministers of Technical and Vocational Education and Training kicked off on Saturday with the participation of over 20 Arab countries. Another international scandal for Al-Makhzan, who deprived the Sahrawi activist Sultana Khaya of winning prizes dedicated to human rights activists through corruption within the European Parliament. And we end the bulletin with the results of the 15th round of the National League, where RC Belouizdad asserted their reign on top of the table with a victory over GS Kabylie. Good evening, those were the headlines. We begin this news bulletin with this working visit of the Minister of Interior, Local Collectivities and Territory Planning, Brahim Marad, in Togourt Province. Brahim Marad insisted on accelerating the pace of development projects, particularly in terms of investment. The Minister also met with citizens who expressed their concerns. This visit comes to implement the President's guidelines. The coverage is by Najwa Jiddi and the commentary is by Rania Bahri.
Togourt is one of the 10 southern provinces newly created to boost the socio-economic development. The potentialities are multiplied for both the agricultural and industrial fields. The priority here is to accelerate the realization of many projects and the implementation of the President of the Republic's guidelines, a priority on which the Minister of Interior, Local Authorities and Territory Planning, Brahim Marad, insisted on while inspecting several development projects, particularly in terms of road rehabilitation and public lighting.
كما كان هو الحال منذ أسابيع على مستوى ولاية
Togourt is known for its many potentialities. The objective is to strengthen the industrial field and support investment projects for promising economic development, enough to create wealth and job positions, particularly with the industrial activity zone. Donation of the land is intended for young people, an approach which is in line with the guidelines of the President of the Republic. The minister also went to Lahjira Industrial Activity Zone with 24 land bases intended for entrepreneurs and craftsmen who benefited from support system. At the end of his visit, the Minister of Interior, Local Authorities and Territory Planning, Brahim Marad, met with members of the civil society, during which he listened to their concerns.
The preparatory meetings of the third Conference of Arab Ministers of Technical and Vocational Education and Training kicked off on Saturday at the International Center of Conferences with the participation of over 20 Arab countries. During this event, experts discussed the creation of an Arab strategy which incorporates a vision and a complementary program between the participating countries, namely regarding the green economy and digitization. Manal Ammari reports.
Providing quality technical and professional training for all categories, highlighting a development strategy in the area of professional training, and adapting training programs to the labor market's requirements, the green economy, and digitization, were the main issues raised by Arab experts in the field of professional training during this conference. We are participating at the proceedings of the third Conference of Arab Ministers for Professional Training. We addressed various issues concerning the green economy and digitization in the professional training sector. This meeting was an opportunity to make guidelines in the area of professional training in order to develop this field and exchange experiences between Arab countries. This conference was an opportunity to exchange experiences between Arab countries to ensure an economic complementarity. It is also a means to strengthen Algeria's pioneering role in this wealth-creating sector.
L'expérience algérienne et arabe
Our goal is highlighting the Algerian and Arab experience to share them with one another. We discussed three important axes, primarily regarding the administration and management of technical professional training in the Arab world, identifying the weak points of the adaptation and training in the labor market. The main issue that was discussed during this meeting was the adaptation of teaching as well as technical and professional training to the labor market's requirements and the future of the green economy. The professional training sector, a vital link in the economic takeoff, which is why the economic experts who took part at this event called for the need of meeting the challenges, namely the quality of the technical and professional training, in order to develop this sector in the Arab world.
The proceedings of the National Forum titled Youth Spaces and Enabling Vision, organized by the Ministry of Youth and Sports, held at the International Conferences Center as well, came to a close. The closing ceremony was supervised by the Minister of Youth and Sports, Abdelrazak Sibgak. The forum discussed ways and means to enable the institutions of the youth and to promote its performance, as well as the relation of the economic sector with the youth. The proceedings of the meeting of the Ministers of Communication began on Saturday in the Libyan capital Tripoli, and this pursuant to the decision of the Council of Ministers of Communication of the Arab League, with the participation of many experts, local and foreign media professionals, and a number of Arab officials. On the agenda, institutional communication and the announcement of a prize for journalism of peace. The Minister of Communication, Mohammed Bouslimani, extended his condolences to the family of the journalist of the National Radio, Abdelbaki Jabali, who passed away at the age of 70 years old. The late journalist was one of the leading journalists from the east of the country, with a rich career both in print and the National Radio. And new developments of Morocco Gate revelations continue making headlines. Italian newspaper Il Fatto Quotidiano reported new revelations about the interference of Al Makhzen to silence Sultana Khaya and deprive her from winning European prizes dedicated to human rights activist Manal Ammari once again.
While Rabat remains silent, the Morocco Gate continues to deliver more secrets as the day go by, and sinking the Makhzen regime further. This time it is the Sahrawi activist Sultana Khaya who would have been the victim of a vast corruption scandal within the European Parliament. According to revelations made by the Italian daily newspaper Il Fatto Quotidiano, the Moroccan regime's interference was not limited to the nomination of members of the Eurochamber committees who dealt with delicate files for this country, but also the candidates of the Sakharov Prize for Freedom of Thought. After analyzing the list presented by various political groups, it was revealed that in 2021 the left-wing group proposed Sultana Khaya so that her name is included in the trio of finalists. However, with the complicity of European parliamentarians on Morocco's payroll, who lobbied within the European Parliament, the Sahrawi activist was deprived of this award while she was under house arrest. In response to this scandal within the European Parliament, Sultana Khaya declared that now the world knows that Morocco has to pay parliamentarians to conceal its violations against the Sahrawis, which is a victory for her people. The revelations did not end here. Rabat was also involved for the amendment of the annual report of the European Parliament on the common foreign and security policy, as well as the nomination of MEPs, namely Eva Kaili and Andrea Cozzolino, in certain key positions within the European institution. The Brussels Public Prosecutor's Office continues its investigations. Analysis of the computers found in the parliamentary assistance offices highlighted anomalies regarding certain nominations.
And we wrap up our bulletin with football, where 7 matches were played in the last day of the 15th round of the National League, where USM Algiers won over CS Constantine 2-1. USM Khanchla beat ACO Schliff 2-0, and C Magra won with a large score over HB Shalom Al-Aid 5-0. Parado AC tied with RC Larba 1-0, while CR Belouizdad won over GS Kabylie 2-1, and with that asserting their lead and holding the honorary title of winter champion. That was it for today's news. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.